Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Dutchess County, Mike Wachowski,
Here.
Dave Violante, Joan Siebert,
Here.
Kathy Tegmeyer, Jennifer Manzi, Kathy Greiner, Dee Sagendorf, Mary Ann Baker. Orange County, Joanne Cheney,
Here.
Ben Combs,
Here.
Rebecca Stage, Andy Lamarca, Kelly McCune,
Here.
Israel Knobloch,
Here.
Frank Cassanite,
Here.
Dawn Marshall.
Here.
Putnam County, Robert Cuomo,
Here.
David Jacobson,
Here.
Matthew Bondi,
Here.
Rockland County, Kim Lippis, Nick Rosicki,
Here.
Michael Murphy, Desiree Leone, here, Neil DeHaan, Bernice Garati, Ron Levy, Sullivan County, Albie Bachman,
Here.
Greg Tavermina,
Here.
Neil Mado,
Here.
Heidi Stack,
Here.
Carrie Jarrah, Matt Goldsmith,
Here.
Ulster County, Rich Parrish,
Here.
Gary Horowitz, Kelly Nelson,
Here.
Richard Muller-Laley, is he here?
No.
Dorothy Ballin, not including the extra delegates.
Good. Quorum. Okay, thank you. Okay, motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Who was that?
Greg,
Okay. I can't see you back there, Greg. I'll
Any
probably say that
discussion?
all night.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, President's report. Got a letter from the Dutchess County EMS Council, to whom it may concern. The Dutchess County EMS Council, at its April 22nd, 2015 meeting, approved the following changes to its delegates. Tim Murphy, delegate, replacing Kathy Tegmeyer. Peter Chanella, alternate, replacing Kathy Greiner. Any questions, please feel free to contact me. Tim Murphy, President. Received an email. Karen, please let this letter advise the Hudson Valley Remsco that on May 21st, Greg Tavermina was reappointed to the Hudson Valley Remsco for a 3-year term. Neil Madon, Chairman of the Sullivan County EMS Board. From Putnam County, on May 17th, we reappointed Robert Como as delegate to the Hudson Valley Remsco. We've also appointed Mr. Albert Jacobs as an alternate. Any questions, please give me a call. Michael McCloskey. Orange County, the Orange County EMS Council has had some changes since January 2015. Eileen Moscow is now our vice chair, and Rebecca Stage has stepped down from her position and is gone as director. Terry Barbie will now fill her position as a second alternate for Orange County. If there's any questions, please give me a call. Kelly McCune, I'm sorry.
Close enough.
And for Ulster County, at the August 25th, 2014, Ulster County EMS Council had made the following changes to their delegates and alternates. Rich Parrish will expire 6/30/16. Gary Horowitz, 6/30/16. Kelly Nelson, 6/30/15. Rich Mullally, alternate, 6/30/17. And Dot Balin, alternate, 6/30/16. One alternate slot is open at this time. Respectfully, Rich Parrish. And that's just a repeat of that. To whom it may concern, the entire Hudson Valley Regional EMS Council, thank you for your assistance and patience with Florida Ambulance this past year. It was a year of ups and downs and constant changes, and I appreciate your help and guidance. As you all know, These will be the last PCRs received from Florida Ambulance. As the beginning of the year, we have been working with Warwick hand in hand on, and there has been no calls dropped in Florida areas since then. I've joined Warwick Ambulance myself and still am a fireman for Florida, so I'm in constant contact with everyone from the area. If you have any questions or issues regarding Florida Ambulance, please feel free to contact me, Michael Damon. Okay, so, I'm going back over. Yep, so I'm gonna do next. Okay, Michael Murphy and Bernice Garati have walked into the room. Okay, Dutchess County, can I have a motion to accept the changes in delegates? Second? All in favor?
Who seconded it? Didn't hear it.
Greg Peppermint.
Ray, you gotta actually say something.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Sullivan County, do I have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
That's a little longer than everybody else.
Putnam County, can I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Orange County,
Motion.
second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Ulster County. Motion? Second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I don't think we have to take anything in Florida, do we?
No.
No, just informational. Okay, we did have an executive committee tonight, with a rather long agenda, and I want to thank the executive, board members for coming in an hour early and, getting us through that agenda. There's going to be some items that are going to be coming up, some new, Bureau of EMS policies. They'll be coming up under, who's going to bring them up? Okay, well, I guess I can bring them up. New policies coming out, 1501 EMS field rotations, 1502 BLS CPAP, 15-something recommended pediatric equipment, new hemorrhagic control protocol approved by the CMAC and SEMSCO, policy on taser barb removal, and there was one other one, wasn't there?
No.
The pilot for EPI?
Yeah.
That's something else, okay. So these are the policies that are gonna be coming out. Some of this stuff's been referred to REMAC. The BLS CPAP, I know the office has been getting flooded with calls since that was announced. That has to go to our REMAC for, approval through them first, and then, the training committee needs to roll out a program, that needs to be approved by the state, and then we'll be able to roll the program out. Because this is a meeting, normally our meetings, the REMAC meets before the Remsco meets. This is the first time we're having actually the Remsco meeting before the REMAC meeting. So, for once, we're going to put the cart before the horse. And what we'd like to do is just get a blanket approval from the Remsco that once the REMAC has either come out with the advisory and/or the policies, that they can move forward with issuing them. So I will need a motion from the floor. Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, okay.
I'm sorry, were you opposed? Did you, oh, I thought you raised your hand.
It was a slow in favor.
Okay.
Slow in favor.
I apologize. Saw my hand go.
Didn't even smell it. Okay. Okay, the other things that were discussed on the executive committee, there are some new policies that, some housekeeping policies and procedures that need to be put in place, after our audit that were brought up. There was adoption of some of those policies. There is a policy, a conflict interest policy, that is going to be distributed out to the council for a vote in September at the next Remsco meeting. This conflict of interest policy, if you all recall, this is the second year that we've had to adjust this policy. Last year it was voted down that we were gonna retain the same policy that was in there. This second auditor has brought up that that policy does not meet the criteria of what we need to have as a conflict of interest policy. So we were able to take this new policy, put it in, get it in place. The executive committee has approved the policy, so it will be distributed out. Everybody will need to sign this conflict of interest policy if you are a delegate, alternate, as members of the council. So we will give it out to you by mail, and it will be brought up in the September meeting for everybody to sign off on at that point. So if you're not gonna be able to attend the September meeting, please get that information back to, the sign-off sheets back to the office. Okay. Just to give you what the policies are, we have a whistleblower policy that's required by federal law for us to have because we do take grant money from both federal and state government. An approval of compensation for the office staff. It kind of guides the executive committee in how raises and evaluations are going to be done. The conflict of interest policy and disclosure. The MWBE policy that states that the council, when appropriate, will use a minority woman-based employment when possible to be able to meet the criteria for the grants. And then an electronic banking policy. For those who don't know, we do electronic transfers between accounts. And as odd as it seems, on all of our checks, we require 2 signatures. On the electronic transfer of funds, it can only be done by 1 individual. So we were trying to figure out how to come up with a policy on that, and basically we're going to have a 2-signature on the transfer. You can't transfer the money anywhere but between the accounts. So money cannot get transferred out of the accounts, it can only be transferred in between the individual accounts. The auditors, because we have the 2-signature requirement, said that you need to have 2 people sign off on the transfers. So we've come up with a policy that addresses that as well. We are looking at the finance committee to get a finance committee together, so anybody that would be interested in sitting on that finance committee, it's going to be a very active committee. There are some items that need to be done to continue working with the monies that we have within the accounts for the upcoming years that we have going. And we renewed our Narcan contract with the AIDS Institute. It's a $15,000 a year contract. We did it last year, and we renewed it again for this year going forward. One of the issues that I want to bring up is that on the executive committee, current policy reads that we need to have representation from each of the counties on the executive committee. The only county I don't have on there is Orange County. So, if we could think about, there are some chair positions that are open. If anybody's from Orange County be willing to take that, that would move that into the executive committee and put us in compliance. If not, I know that policies and procedures, I'm sorry, not policies and procedures, the bylaw committee will be looking at that bylaw to change the must to should, so that we can be in compliance with that policy. And that is all I have on that. So, any questions? Okay, moving on then. Treasurer's report?
Matt, just keep it listening.
The income that we received, the program agency income, is $261,726. We received income from the regional council, $24,659. We received $1,900 in income for the training and education, for a total income received of $288,285, against the total expenses of $251,385.
That's the annual report of income to expenses that we've had for the year. Do you have a regular, is there a regular treasury report?
Yes.
Yeah, there should be one account balances.
The council account balance is $41,552.36. The payroll account balance is $38,809.57. And the program agency account balance is $124,633.61. For a total account balance of $204,995.54.
And all of our vouchers with the state of New York are paid at this point, so they owe us no money for once. Any questions on the treasurer's report? Can I have a motion? A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Medical director's report.
Nothing to report.
Nice and easy. Okay, committee report, training committee.
Nothing for training.
Okay, nothing on training. REMAC?
Nothing to add.
I'm sorry, what doctors? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, transportation.
Okay, Kim is not here. Is this where we want to do the,
I think we talk about it, but it goes under new business for the actual vote.
okay.
Presented and vote on it.
In Transportation Committee will bring in a few minutes a motion, a seconded motion about Northern Dutchess paramedics. Northern Dutchess paramedics wanted to expand into the town of Dover. They sent a CON Article 30 to us. We processed it. It was filed as per policy 606. And the Transportation Committee published a public hearing and convened the public hearing on 5/12/15 here in the Remsco office, and it was presided over by Martin Cohen. His final notes will also be read at the time that we vote. And New York State returned their fitness and competency report with no bars to the entities that were listed in their application. And okay, later on we'll have a roll call vote. So I don't know if there's any questions on one. Northern Dutchess paramedics wants to expand basically into the town of Dover. They cover all of Northern Dutchess now, and this is a corner of that area in Dutchess County. All right, do you have any questions on what we will be voting on? Okay.
That's it for transportation?
Yes.
Okay. Public education? Policies and procedures?
No, you covered everything, so, thank you.
You're welcome. Legislative and bylaws,
Oh.
Mr. Bachman.
Yes, sir. Well, I have nothing on bylaws because that stuff's boring. However, I'm gonna perk your interest now on some new bills that are being presented to the Assembly and the Senate, and it has been done. As you know, the future of EMS is involving community paramedicine. It's something that we really have to follow, and most state organizations, both volunteer and commercial, are really following it. The bill has been submitted by Gottfried in the Assembly. It's relating to community paramedicine services provided by EMS providers. What it does is it expands the scope, not the scope of our training, but the scope of what we will be able to do, excluding the care we give in transport. In other words, we'll be able to assess differently. Now with modern technology, iPads, B-pads, Q-pads, maxi pads, whatever there are, you can now you can now present things to your doctor, talk to them directly. This bill is allowing EMS to evaluate and improve health conditions of patients within the scope of practice of EMTs and advanced EMTs in circumstances other than initial emergency medical care and transport. It has been read twice and has been submitted to the Health Committee. Also, it is in the Senate, so it's getting support on both sides. By Hannan, Senator Hannan, it is identical to the Assembly bill. Also, it has been read and submitted to the Health Committee. We all know that once it's in committee, it could sit there for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. However, the Department of Health, CMAC, all agencies are pushing for this to move forward. This could be a bill that we can see moving forward rather quickly. Just on a side note, I'll be going to Florida next week to a conference on community paramedicine, and I'll bring hopefully some stuff back to us to share and move things along. It is the future of EMS.
Anything else? Good to go.
And one further thing. I love to speak. As you know, our illustrious president is going to be moving and changing his life status a tad bit. Our bylaws state that the president or all council members they're members of, they must live within the district in which they serve. With that, Mike is going to be leaving the district of which he is a delegate from. And that question came up, that can he serve? Now, our new bylaw states that the departing president of the council stays on the executive committee. But in this case with Michael leaving that post and leaving the jurisdiction for which he comes from, we had to look into it. So it says here, the present law says the council members and alternates shall be residents of the 6 counties constituting the Hudson Valley region. But since we need Michael's expertise, and we must say that he has been an awesome president in that seat, that in our bylaws it states that each sponsoring agency shall be entitled to 1 vote on each standing committee. Committee membership, that includes the executive committee. Committee membership is not restricted to council members. Interested parties who may significantly enhance committee expertise may be appointed by the executive committee. And in this case, as the departing president, and the expertise that Michael has had, that he is a member of the executive committee. So by the nature of our bylaws, he's able to be on the executive committee for that 1 year, so to speak. Or longer, should we desire. So there's no conflict.
Okay. Anything else, Al? Anything else?
Not at this time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nominating committee, Kelly.
Everybody should have gotten these.
Kelly, you gotta keep your voice up, I have a
sorry.
fan right over my head, okay?
Everybody should have gotten slate by email. President, we have Richard Parrish and Greg Tavermina. Vice President, Robert Como. Treasurer, Nick, is that C? And Secretary Desiree Leone Stoll. That's what's being presented tonight.
We'll be voting under new business. So, any other questions for the nominating committee? Okay. State Council?
I've got a write-up from it. They appointed a new tag, quality in EMS, and that's getting a lot of attention. Commissioner Zucker was confirmed. The blood regs are still waiting for the commissioner's sign-off. Now that he's confirmed, hopefully he'll sign it. A big change in the EMS awards. they must be to the region by May 1st now. The reason for that is that they're forwarding the awards to the national panel, and they have to be to those folks by June 15th. So everything's moving back. So have to get them done early. All right, training and ed, they've voted to try to roll out protocols and policies once a year, not one today, one tomorrow. Bring it all together so that the training package, you bring people in and do one training for all the new policies and protocols. The spinal protocol, half the committee wants it yesterday, the other half when we get to it. So there's a push on to get it out as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll see it at the September meeting, but that meeting may get shelved because there was a problem. It did get shelved? Okay. CPAP was approved for BLS, and as you heard, there's a lot of people that are interested in it. Hemorrhage control, what they addressed on that protocol was the tourniquet, high and tight, and they've clarified the use of hemorrhagic clotting agents. So that's now in the state policy. There's a discussion on the critical care technician. It's only used here in New York State. The rural environment really wants to see that stay, so there's discussion on that as to where that's going to be headed. At the safety committee, synthetic cannabis, apparently the Syracuse area got hit real hard to the point where they had to do an emergency protocol update permitting EMS to restrain some patients. Ambulance design. If you've got any interest, and I know if you have trouble going to sleep at night, get the KKK specs or an FPA 1917 or a new, it's not a new agency, it's the certifying agency for ambulances, CAS, C-A-A-S, is it?
I'm sorry, you have to say that again.
The certifying agency for ambulances, C-A-A-S, all right, are coming out with ambulance specs. Which one do we follow? The safety committee has broken it down, and each group of us are going to be looking at specifics and then bring it back. All right. Somewhere in the KKK specs, the gentleman that is in the process of retiring somehow slipped in that the antlers that we use to hold the stretcher in place can't be used anymore. And if that happens, one of the devices that they're recommending is a $25,000 striker, just the plate. Then you get the ambulance, it's another $15,000. So that's not mandated yet, but watch out, something's coming down. All right, medical standards, and this one, if you're interested, get in touch with me. They came up with an EPI pilot program. It's following the King County, Seattle, Washington program. Right now, if you're using an EpiPen, you're paying about $350 for the EpiPen. They figure that we're throwing away about $10 million a year in expired EpiPens. What they've come up with, Dr. Daly from Albany Med and a group from Rochester Hospital, has come up with a kit following what Seattle, Washington did, and they got the cost down to about $55. And what's going to happen, though, is it's going to be a training program because you're going to be drawing up the medication. It's not going to be take the pen, jam it. You're going to be trained to take a syringe, fill it, and then inject it. Right? The cost, though, is $55. So they're looking at that. The pilot program was approved. Anybody, usually a pilot program is isolated or contained in a particular area of the state. This one is open to anybody. If you're interested in participating in it, I'll give you Mike Daly's contact information. I recommend that if you're an agency that is using EpiPen on a regular basis, get into the program.
I just would like to make one statement with that. The program has been approved at the state level, but it does require REMAC approval and we don't have a REMAC meeting until Monday. So this will be on the agenda for Monday at the REMAC meeting, but the REMAC has to approve that we can participate in the pilot program before anybody can participate with the pilot program outside our region. There are some very stringent requirements and information that you have to pass on, and the usage, all right? And we will have a package put together that will allow you to participate in that.
Because it's a pilot program, there's a lot of reporting to do with it. There's 5 doctors that are signed on, and they will be covering 24/7. So once you use the EpiPen, you will be required to call the doctor, hey, this is what went right, this is what went wrong, that. It's a pilot, they're trying to get information to move them forward. It's gonna have a unique syringe, they bought 50,000 of them, and the uniqueness of it is that when you draw up the medication, it's gonna have a P for the pediatric dose, 0.15, and the adult dose will have an A. So you just put it in, you pull it, expire your air, and it'll be a 23 gauge, I think inch and a half needle, all right? So that's where that's going. All right, trauma centers, Westchester Med's been approved at a level 1, adult peds, St. Luke's, Cornwall, a level 3. For the folks that are involved in the narcotics program, they have a new director, and he appears to be quite supportive of EMS, so hopefully we're looking at cleaning up some of the reporting processes for that. Okay? Any questions, comments? If not,
One of the things you'll be seeing with a lot of the new BLS protocols coming out will be flow charting. So they are changing the protocols to have a flow chart of how things should be done. And you'll see that both in the bleeding control and in CPAP. So that will be the new standard that New York State will be moving to.
Well, we've already taken care of the expiring delegates and alternates, so 2015 collaborative protocol update. Collaborative protocol update.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put this together.
Yes.
We're doing it.
No, you can do it.
All right. So, and this is as of what date, though?
As of today.
As of today. Several hospitals have completed their medical control training for all their members. The ones that are complete are Vassar, Good
That
Samaritan.
aren't complete, or
Are in complete compliance. Vassar Brothers, Good Sam, Orange Regional Medical Center, St. Luke's, Cornwall, and Mid-Hudson Regional Hospital are complete. Hospitals that are still working on finishing with all their physicians is the Health Alliance, the Hudson Valley, Sharon Hospital, and Hudson Valley Hospital. And there are 6 hospitals that have not submitted any paperwork yet. That'll be brought up at the next Monday's REMAC meeting to address that situation further.
Okay, under new business, nominations of officers. Before, I'm gonna actually go out of order here. I'm just gonna go to the NDP expansion of territory vote, get that out of the way, and then we'll do the officers after that, if there's any objections. Okay. The NDP expansion of operating territory. Any questions on what we're voting on? Okay. Is there a conflict of interest?
You should read it, but Albie took my conflict of interest. Just the last paragraph.
Albie, could you read the?
I would be honored.
I would appreciate it.
Slow down for me. Don't read it at 3.
Fellow court reporter, I understand. No officer or member of the council may vote on any matter in which he or she has a pecuniary interest. But an officer or member of the council is uncertain as to whether a conflict of interest exists, he or she shall disclose the matter to the full council, which shall decide whether a conflict of interest exists.
Does anybody have any conflict of interest for the NDP expansion? Not hearing any or seeing anybody raise their hands.
I do work for them,
I work for him too.
Okay. Do either of you have fiduciary responsibility for the organization?
No.
Okay. No fiduciary responsibility? Does anybody here feel that there is a conflict of interest for Mike and Joan, right? Yeah. To vote on this? I'm sorry, Tim. You're so- sorry. For Tim or Joan to vote? Not hearing any, you may participate in the vote. Okay. I will ask for a roll call vote.
Okay. Mike Bukowski,
It is, it comes out as it's come out as a seconded motion from transportation. Do you want to read the statement from the?
Yeah, since nobody from transportation is here.
Yeah, sorry
I'll
about
do
that.
Okay? They did have a statement. NDP, Northern Dutchess Paramedics, in compliance with Article 30 and the New York State Bureau of EMS Policy 606, has filed for an expansion of territory within the Remsco region. NDP has applied to have their CON expanded to include the town of Dover in the county of Dutchess in the state of New York. This is a seconded motion coming from the Remsco Transportation Committee. Chairperson is Kim Lippis. The Transportation Committee has reviewed, discussed, and deemed the application complete. The Transportation Committee published a notice of public hearing and convened a public hearing on 5/12/2015 in the Remsco office, presided over by Mr. Martin Cohen. His final notes will be read right after this. New York State has returned a fitness and competency report with no bars to these entities, and well, we did read that in the vote. So, Mr. Martin's final recommendation is NDP EMS application for expansion of operating certificate in Council Town of Dover should be granted. And it's based on the above filing. I recommend the approval of this application. I find further that there is a public need for a permanent certificate permitting the service to be continue for the requested area, and that the applicant has both means and the personnel to service the area. So that's from the administrative judge that was there at the public hearing.
Now, as a seconded motion, call a roll call.
Mike Bukowski,
Yes.
Dave Bialonzi, Joan Siebert,
Yes.
Kathy Tegmeyer, Jennifer Monzi, Kathy Brainer, Dee Sagendorf, Mary Ann Baker, Orange County, Joanne Chaney,
Yes.
Ben Cox,
Yes.
Rebecca Stage, Andy Lamarca, Kelly McEwen,
Yes.
Israel Knobloch,
Yes.
Frank Cassanite,
Yes.
Dawn Marshall.
Yes.
Putnam County, Robert Cuomo,
Yes.
David Jacobson,
Yes.
Matthew Bondi,
Yes.
Rockland County, Kim Lippis, Nick Rosicki,
Yes.
Michael Murphy,
Yes.
Desiree Leone, yes. Neil DeHaan, Bernice Garati,
Yes.
Ron Levy, Sullivan County, Albie Bachman,
Yes.
Greg Tavermina,
Yes.
Neil Modell,
Yes.
Heidi Stack,
Yes.
Carrie Jara, Matt Goldsmith,
Yes.
Ulster County, Rich Parrish,
Yes.
Gary Horowitz, Kelly Nelson, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Richard Mullally, Dorothy Ballin, yes.
Okay.
What was the numbers?
Members? Twenty yeses. That's not including alternates.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much.
Okay. Okay. Nominations of officers. I'm going to turn this over to Kelly.
We have to open them up to the floor, that if anybody, again, we have for President Richard Parrish, Greg Cavallini. Is anybody else interested in running off the floor? Make a motion to close?
Wait, I can't hear you. Who did that?
You
You guys gotta keep your voice up for me. I have a fan right over my head.
Off the floor thing, or is it motion?
Any nominations from the floor?
All right. Any nominations off the floor? Okay, number two, anything off the floor?
Kelly, you gotta keep your voice up for me. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And third time, anything off the floor for president? Now we'll make a motion to close the presidency.
Okay.
Close.
Got a motion, seconded? Okay. This will be done by ballot.
Correct. Office of Vice President, Robert Cuomo.
We have to finish the president, so we
Okay.
need to hand out the ballots.
Now we have to I don't know what anybody is. All right. Rockland County. Anybody else? No. The position, yes, we have alternate.
This point,
If they're,
One of our alternates can vote.
yeah.
Yeah, the only people that are allowed to vote
Yeah, we
are
got-
the delegates or the alternates.
But some counties we have three delegates, we
Right,
can only
so
vote one.
Mike,
Correct.
so Orange County, they have 3 alternates here.
Correct.
And somebody has to vote for Andy, so who on Orange County is gonna be voting for Andy?
There's 2 people missing and 2 delegates for Orange
Well,
County.
Rebecca Stage is no longer here.
Right.
But she is until this point.
So she was an alternate anyway, Desiree?
No, she's a
No,
regular.
she was okay.
She was changed as of today, so she's still a member today.
Okay.
So the both alternates for Orange County can vote. It's Sullivan County that, none of the alternates in Sullivan County can vote. And then Ulster, only one alternate can vote. Oh, the alternates aren't here, forget it.
All right, let me just finish this one.
So Karen, just, Dutchess County alternates can vote. Should none here.
There's none here.
Orange County, they can vote.
Both delegates,
Both delegates.
Okay.
Rockland County, Bernice can vote. Sullivan County, none of the alternates from Sullivan County can vote. So that's Heidi and Matt.
Obviously, no.
I got one. Tim's not a member yet.
Okay.
He'll be able to vote
Tim's
next
not
time.
official.
Yeah,
Who else is Duchess?
I am.
Mike
I'm still Duchess. But actually, do I vote because I'm the tiebreaker if something was the tiebreaker?
Right.
So I can't vote.
Just two from Dutchess, Mike and Joan, so.
Oh, that's it.
David's over there.
It is.
Yeah.
We might see, at this rate, we might see it come up.
Matt is up there with the red
Joey?
shirt, with the
Does
glasses.
the medical director get to vote?
Over by Rich.
Joey? Does the medical director vote, or is it just delegates from each county?
I think just the delegates. Okay, the last one is.
Just the bylaws, is that, does he have a vote?
He does on the executive committee.
Who's voting?
Andy
You
and
decided
Rebecca,
you're voting
Andy and
for?
Rebecca are not
My,
here.
me and
so-
Dawn will be voting for Andy and Becky.
Okay, so you're voting, and she's voting. Where's Ben? Okay,
Desiree.
we did it.
Did you say it was Terry Bobby?
Who's Terry? I'm sorry.
Terry Bobby from Orange County? She's just coming on
No.
too. Okay.
Okay, do all delegates and alternates to the counties have a ballot in front of them?
Please say yes.
Is there anybody that doesn't that should?
Who said
Okay.
this committee was easy? I don't know.
It normally is.
Normally.
Okay, please take this opportunity to vote, and then the ballots will be collected. And please do us a favor, only fold them once. No origami, please.
Pass them down? Just pass them down?
Can everybody please
Now, right?
put things down?
I think they should be collected.
They should be collected.
Oh.
Do you have a pot or a bucket?
Like I'm getting a secret code. Combination to the safe. I would like a volunteer.
Yeah, we need a volunteer to oversee the county.
Do you want to be off the whole
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anybody that's interested in having a copy of that community paramedicine bill that's been submitted to the legislature, I have one.
You have the number, Albie?
I do, sir. Assembly.
Wait, is this on the record?
No,
No.
no, no.
A 07503. Senate S 05481.
Thank you.
S05.
481.
Thank you.
like lawyers or?
back on the record.
Votes have been counted. The president, Richard Parrish.
Congratulations, Rich.
Thank you for your support.
Okay,
Move on.
move on.
Okay. And we have the office of the vice president, Robert Como. Any nominations off the floor? Any nominations off the floor? Any nominations off the floor?
Request the secretary to cast one ballot. Second motion.
Who seconded? Greg, is that you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Congratulations, Bob.
Office of treasurer, candidate Nick Rozecki. Any nominations off the floor? Any nominations off the floor for treasurer? Third time, any nominations off the floor?
Request the secretary to cast one ballot.
Is there a motion? Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Congratulations, Nick.
Office of secretary, candidate Desiree Leone Stoll. Any nominations off the floor? Second time, any nominations off the floor? Your last chance, anybody? Third time, any nominations off the floor?
Request the secretary to cast
For herself. Yeah, motion seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Who did the second? Was that Greg?
Yeah. Okay, so your new slate of officers is Rich Parrish, Robert Como, Nick Rozecki, and Desiree Leone. They'll be your 2015/16 officers of Regional EMS Council. Congratulations, everybody. And I want to thank Rich and Greg for I don't know how many years it's been, we've actually had to vote for a position. So
It's more than 15.
yeah,
More than
no,
15.
it's the longer as I've been here, so.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see, the 2015 Hudson Valley Remsco Award winners. BLS Provider of the Year, Sharon Wilbur. Communication Specialist of the Year, Augustine Passat. Physician of Excellence, Dr. Mark Papish. Youth Provider of the Year, Cassidy Hubert. ALS Provider of the Year, Chris Morris. Registered Nurse of Excellence, Tony Boldock. The Harriet Weber EMS Leadership Award, Frank Cassanite. EMS Educator of Excellence, David Grass. EMS Agency of the Year, Beacon Volunteer Ambulance. Excellence in EMS Quality and Safety, the Dutchess County Department of Health and Emergency Response. There are recipients of the 2015 award winners. Congratulations to all. Is there any other new business?
I'd like to thank Mike for his leadership over the year, and it's been a pleasure working with him. I'm looking forward to him being an advisor, and I'm gonna be on one end an advisor, and on the back end as the vice president, ex-president, so I think that starting off, we should have a real good team, and looking to work with the new treasurer, secretary. Hopefully we'll have a productive year. Thanks for your support.
Oh,
Mike, thanks for everything.
thank you. One thing I forgot under the tag for mutual aid, was there a report on that? Okay.
That mutual aid is attacking windmills. The only county that did anything was Dutchess. Every other county I've tried to get something from,
Rockland.
I meant Rockland, not
Oh, okay.
Dutchess, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Yes. All right, but mutual aid is, what's that?
Okay, before we adjourn, I want to thank everybody. It has been God knows, I've been part of this council for umpteen years, and it has been a pleasure working with everybody here. I look forward to continuing to work as an advisor to the council. And I want to thank everybody for your support and your assistance and guidance over the many, many years that I've been here. Thanks. And I will educate anyone.
I make a motion.
Second it. Thanks, everybody.